Hello and welcome back to Simple or Difficult. In this video, we are going to be looking at how you can render small spaces using 3ds Max and Corona. When I say render small spaces, I mean how you can set up your scene to be able to still get something cool regardless of small spaces. Because usually you don't have enough space to fit in your camera with the appropriate focal length, and you may find it difficult as a beginner to get enough light into your scene because the windows, like the example we're going to be using for this tutorial, the windows might be small. Okay, we are going to be fixing all that in this video, and not only that, we are also going to be working with materials. We are going to be, modeling some things. We are going to be doing a lot of tone mappings and every other things in between. By the end of this video, you will have the skills to comfortably render any small spaces you come across in future. All right, so buckle up, hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the video. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is check our unit setup to ensure that everything is in millimeter. Set this to millimeter, okay. And then let's import our file. Delete the camera. Then change the viewport to double viewport. Bring in the Scene Explorer. Okay. Yeah. In the render setup, change the renderer to Corona. Okay. Now let's add our Corona camera. No. Select the camera icon and then select Corona cam. Draw it from down up and then align it using the align tool to be perfectly vertical. Change the view to camera view by hitting C on the keyboard while hovering on the viewport. Then change it to clay. Remove the target. Okay, now let's raise the height of the camera to 900 for starters. Add edge, then move the camera into the space. Let's see what it gives us. Alright, before anything, let's set our aspect ratio and a few other setups. Turn off the fast preview and turn this thing off. This clear VFB between renders. Lock the viewport and let's go. Back to the camera. Select the camera. Let's go over to the modify tab. There are some things we need to set there. Focal length 24. Now let's add that's cool. Let's add save frame. Hit Shift F on your keyboard, or you can just select it from in here. Okay, just like so. But that's not all. We still have a lot of work to do with this camera. Just follow me closely. Select the camera. Let's go and add some shift to this camera, vertical shifts, to balance it out. We need to add some camera clipping. All right, let me set it up. Just watch me closely. Okay, I need to move the camera around. The importance of this camera clipping is just so that, you get to see more interior space by moving the camera back. Okay, and as you're moving it back, when the camera is outside the room, you're not supposed to be seen inside the room, but with the help of camera clipping now, you can clip the camera inside the room while the camera is outside the room, seeing what you should see as if it is outside the room, but then it is inside the room. It's not going to let in the light from outside in too. So that's the benefit of using camera clipping. And I hope you saw what I did there. I used the image comp helper to help balance my image. Now it's time for us to bring in the furnitures. Okay, I'm going to speed it up because this is what we always do. So just bring it in, rotate it, move it around anyhow it's deemed fit. That is going to give you the arrangement you want. I mean, you are the interior designer here or the CG artist, but you get the idea. Now, as you are doing this, always keep working on your camera to give you what you want. Now we're going to bring in the coffee table that's going to be in front of the couch. All right. Let's use this one instead. I think this one is going to be better. Then let's bring in the mat or the rug or the carpet, whatever you choose to call it. Then scale it down a bit. You can see it's bigger than the space where we want it to fit into. So we are going to scale it down from the X and Y axis alone. That way it doesn't affect the thickness of the rug. It just affects the dimension. That's the size, the radius of the rug. Now let's bring in some accessories, some food to keep on top of the table. Now we have selected both of them, so we can be able to set it properly. Okay, using the image comp helper, I'm going to arrange the coffee and the food, at the golden mean. All right, let's remove that stuff. That's the safe frame. Now let's put in the wall art. Okay, let's rotate it. Oh, okay. Now you can see the way it's rotating freely. But if we turn on the angle toggle snap, it will now be snapping to distance. You can set this thing by right clicking on it. Now you can see all the settings you can work with. You can change the angle to be snapping at any 10 degrees, or you can use percentage if you want. All right, so I'm going to leave it at 5, and then I'm going to close it. You can also check out all those other options. Then rotate it to 90 degrees and then place it on this wall. All right, move it and make sure it aligns with the door head height, like the door, lintel height. I'm gonna delete that stuff. Let's bring in the planters, like the indoor plants. All right. Okay. I'm gonna select one of them. I think this one is too bulky. Let's use this one instead. Okay, this is manageable. All right. I select the floor and then, okay, it's on the floor, so no problem. Now the next thing I want us to do is to add the wall skirting or the baseboard, whatever you call it. So I select the walls and isolate them, and then I'm going to go over to the lines and then turn on my 3D toggle. Right click on it to be able to set it up to what I already have it as. So you can be able to snap. All right. If you don't have it on, you won't be able to snap. So you can hold down shift to restrict it to make it straight. All right. Don't worry about where it is snapping. We're going to fix that. As you can see, it's not snapping where it's supposed to snap. But then we are going to fix all that later. All right. So just go ahead and draw it. And then don't worry about that. We are done. All right. Let's move them. You can see they are not really snapping on the same axis. So turn off your 3D snaps and then move them down by selecting them and adding 0 to the Z axis. Now it's not still right. We are still going to adjust it. All right, like so. And then go back to that Z, add 0. Go back to the Z, add 0. Okay, do the same for the rest of them. Okay, let's do one more. Select the, and then add 0. Now, just like that, we're going to do it for the rest of them. Okay. That's it. Now, let's turn on the rendering and then adjust the settings to fit in, that of a curve. Add some thickness. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing for each and every one of the lines. But first, let's adjust it. Let's bring it out of the wall. This is inside the wall. So select the dots and then bring it out. That's the points, whatever I want to call it. Bring it from inside the wall. Now we're going to do the same thing for these other lines here. So just select the line, enable rendering, adjust the settings, and then move it out from the wall. That's all. Same for the other one. Move it outside. So let's raise it up. You can see it's inside the ground. Let's keep it out above the floor surface. Yeah. Now we have added the curves. Okay. So let's duplicate our camera. Let's have 2 cameras. Okay. Rotate it and then you move it into place. Hit C to switch to that view. And then let's adjust this camera a little bit. Change the focal length to 30. And then dolly the camera. Okay. Let's bring in the curtain. And then we're going to adjust this curtain and then fit it into the space where we need it to. Just watch me closely to see how I do that. Okay, move it up, scale it down. You move, you scale, you adjust, you apply FFD button, FFD modifier. Okay, all these things to ensure that you fit in the curtain into the space where you need it to fit into, while still having the curtain look not too scaled or squished or that kind of stuff. You don't want that. You want your curtain to still look rich and still look natural, but at the same time you want it to fit into the space where you want it to fit into. All right. Now that we're on this view, I just realized that we're supposed to have a door in that place. Okay, this is the Revit file. The door is not there. Let's add the door quickly, and then let's override that door in 3ds Max. Okay, select it, isolate it in 3D view. Okay, like so. Then export only this view while maintaining the hidden attributes of this view. Okay, so name it to whatever you want, and then say save. Leave the temporary hide the way it is. All right, let's go back to 3ds Max. Select that wall and delete it, and then import, hit open, hit OK, hit OK again, and now you can see the door and the wall have occupied that space just like we wanted. Now let's adjust this planter, okay, a bit. Nope, let's just adjust this one. All right, let's start by scaling it. No, 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 no. I don't know. I don't like the way it's looking. It's looking too squished. Looking too squished. Let me just take everything back to 100. All right. So scale everything down, and now it's looking the way it's supposed to look. Let me work on the port instead by selecting it and then editing the poly, selecting the vertices and then moving it down to touch the floor instead of scaling it like that. That didn't look good at all. I think this is better. I wanted the planter to be, tad smaller so it can fit into this space perfectly. All right. Select this and delete it. I don't need that stuff. Now let's work on our ceiling and then fitting our curtain into the ceiling. Select the walls around and then the furnitures, and just, move things around till they work. That's just it. FFD modifier, that is like what you're going to use to ensure that you take the ceiling back inside, not to interfere with the sitting arrangement that we have going on here. All right. Okay, just select the control points and then move them around. Okay, even on the vertical as well. Well, first of all, let's move the vertices of our ceiling out of the way. All right, so that our curtain can fit in, like an alcove kind of stuff. Now, select the control points, raise it up, like so. You have to do this in a balanced manner so that the curtain does not look stretched or squished or anything like that. We don't want that. We want the curtain to look natural. Okay, move this ceiling down like so. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Then move it a little bit like so. Okay, it's looking better now. Now let's go ahead and add light. Okay, so come over here. We'll turn on material override. Click on none. Set the overriding material to current legacy material. Now let's adjust this material to give us a better view when we are doing this stuff. Add 1 to reflection, add 0.6 to glossiness, change the color. Okay, now let's adjust the reflection color. That will increase or decrease the reflection depending on how light or dark it is. Okay, so yeah, let's select these 2 frames and delete them. We don't need them on the outside. Now we're going to select this window and we're going to exclude them. Okay, that is including the material that they come with. Now we're selecting this curtain too, and we're going to do the same thing, exclude them. All right, now let's go ahead and add light in the environment light. Hit it on your keyboard, or you can just click in rendering, go to environment, that's same thing. Now let's go ahead and select our Corona Sky and then close the dialog box. Okay. Yeah. Now let's pick this material and make sure that the materials are Corona material. They are not. So now let's go ahead and convert it to Corona material. Select on the Corona converter, select on materials of selected object only, set to first non-stop and hit convert. Now it is done. It is now Corona materials. As you can see inside our material editor. Now you can see the makeups of the material. We only need the glass and then the frame part. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a material. Okay, for the glass, just come over here in the reflection, add one, come over in refraction, add one, then plug it in, replace the other one that we just got from Corona conversion. Now let's create our own normal white material like the one we have here. Okay, adjust the color a little bit, make it brighter, and then plug it. If I plug it on the tool, you don't need to have these tint material. Select others and delete them. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now the next thing we want to do is to work on our composition. Okay. Now we're going to use the image comp helper. We're going to now use it to like adjust this camera view properly. Okay, to balance it well. Right. Now let's bring out the Corona VFB and start our interactive render. Yeah. As you can see, that cutting is not Corona material, so we're not going to select it and we're going to convert it again, okay, to Corona material. Material of the selected object only, first non-stop, first on metal. And then you go over to, we're using our relink bitmap, we are going to relink the maps, including that of the cuttings. So let's try again and see what we have. Okay. As you can see, the cutting is now showing. It's no longer showing Corona material. Now let's increase the exposure to have more light enter this scene. Now when you look at the cutting, you find out that the cutting is looking metallic. Let's adjust it. Okay. Let's adjust it. So click on this, select it, change it to non-metal. You pick the other material of the cutting, select and set it to non-metal, and that's all. Now when you click on interactive render, it is going to look way better than what we had before, which is something metallic. Now we're going to remove the casting shadow so that light will pass this cutting regardless of it being there. Okay, that's in the object properties. As you can see, we have more light entering this scene right now. Now we're going to adjust the exposure, make it 2.8 or something. Okay. Let's go ahead. Select the camera. Let's adjust the vertical tilt. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's move the ceiling. Adjust the ceiling a little bit. For better effect. All right. Okay. And the next thing we're going to add is we're going to add portal light. Okay, this is a tiny space with a tiny window. Now we need to throw in light without having to crank up our exposure very well. Okay, so we're just gonna create this light and duplicate as instance. So that when I adjust one, it adjusts the rest. Now let's create light mix. Okay, hit the setup light mix, click generate, go over to render element. You're gonna see the light mix we just created. We're gonna change this one to portal light. All right, that's the only light we've added. This is our environment map. We can change it to Corona Sky. Okay, and then we're gonna come out of that, and then let's do interactive render again. All right, now when we go to our light mix, we're gonna see the light mix that we just created. Toggle then on and off. Now let's adjust these portal lights because it's blocking the other environment light from coming in. All right, so come over here. You uncheck everything apart from generate caustics. All right, so now when you reduce it, other lights will be contributing. All right, let's go to the first camera and see how things are looking. All right, Okay. Now let's adjust the focal length so that we're not going to have anything cutting through any part of the scene. And then adjust our vertical tilt. Yeah. Now let's adjust the light instead of adjusting it from the light mix. Okay, we're gonna make it like 30, 20. Because it is instanced, both of them adjust while I adjust one of them. Okay? Okay, yeah. Now it's time for us to add Corona Sun. We're gonna add it, directionally like this. Okay, we're gonna go diagonally like that. So select click on Corona Sun and then draw it and drag and then raise the height. Now let's see the effect. You can see the sun coming inside the scene. Okay, coming inside the this. So let's adjust the sun a bit more so we can get the most out of it. You can watch me closely and do what I do. Okay, you can see the way it's going. There's no special way of doing this thing. As you're doing it, be looking at what you're doing. Once you're comfortable and okay with what you have, then you just leave it like that. Because this is an art. It is not a side. Whatever you want to do, as far as it's looking good to you, as far as it's looking good, as good as what you are, maybe you have let's say you have a reference. If it's looking as good as that, you can stop. Okay? It is not about science, it's about art. Okay, it's about the feeling. Now you can increase the size of this sun to make the shadows a little bit softer. Okay, let's go ahead and add the sun to the light mix. So click on light select, not light mix, and then hit OK. And then adjust it, the name, and then click on this plus button to add it. Now you stop this. When you start rendering again, you're gonna see our Corona Sun has entered. You can see the effect. I can reduce the brightness, that's the intensity of the sun. I can just leave it from there. Or you can just leave it and adjust it from the settings. Now it's time for us to add our cove lights in the ceiling. Alright, so select the ceiling and then isolate it. That's going to make it easier for us to add our light and set it properly the way we want it. Okay, let's draw the light. Okay, this particular one is going to be just above, okay, shining on the curtain like that. So you can see the light shining out, but then we have to now work on the color of the light. So come over here. Okay, set it to Kelvin temperature, then set it to 3000. You can see it's already shining, warmly. I mean 36. Then now let's set it to 3002 to make it a little bit warmer. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Okay, now let's go ahead and add this light to the other parts of the ceiling. Okay, we're going to isolate the ceiling again, and then we're now going to duplicate this light as a copy so we can make adjustment to it. You can see it doesn't match what we want. Now we're going to reduce it to match it the way we want it. All right, yeah, almost there. Yeah, so we're just going to basically duplicate these lights, tilt it at an angle a little bit to be able to get what we want. All right, we're going to duplicate it all over across board on this ceiling. All the places we want light to be, that's where we're going to duplicate it across. So we're just going to be copying it, and then we're going to be, tilting and twisting it. All right, so just do the same for your own project. Turn on this thing, that's the angle snapping. Then move it into place and then adjust the width and then the height rather. Okay, so we're still going to duplicate it all over the place. But first of all, let's just see what we have done, the way it is looking, and see if we are going to continue. Okay, it's looking good. It's looking good. You can see the light shining out from there. Looking good. Now I think we should just go back and then complete what we've started. But now we're going to leave this interactive rendering on so that we'll be appreciating it in real time. Now I'm going to rotate this one. Make sure when you want to copy the ones in the level, where you want to put it. You see the way I just did it now, I just copied it and it fell into place. All I needed to do was just to rotate it in the right direction. See what wanted to happen now. I'm just going to increase the height to match the space where I want to fit the light in. Oh, that's too much. Reduce it. Yes, somewhere along that line. Okay, yeah, looking so good. Now, let's continue. Notice I'm doing, cloning using the copy option because I want to easily adjust the height of the light without having to affect every other light in place. I'm just going to select this and I'm going to rotate it. And then adjust it. You can see the light is already shining out. Then move it into place. Increase the height a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to drag it down here and then I'm going to rotate it as per usual. Yeah. Okay, not that one. This one instead. Yeah, let's confirm. Exactly. So, yeah, we're going to adjust the height. I think it's okay. Yeah, it is okay. Adjust the height a little bit. Yeah. And then duplicate it and rotate it like so. And then move it into place. Reduce it a little bit more to fit into the space where we want it to be. Duplicate it again and rotate it and then fit it into place. I mean, you get the idea by now, so I just stop talking. Okay. Yeah. You can see the effect of the light in this space. We have double line of hidden lights on the ceiling. Now let's save a file. Okay, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Anti-Room Sumi, and I'm going to hit save. And it's going to save. Yeah, that's done. It's done saving. Now, let's go and select the light and then add them inside light mix. Select not light mix, like I told you before. Rename it to Cove Lights, and then come up down here and hit the plus button to add all the lights inside that light mix. Okay, so there we have it. Go over to light mix. Now you're going to see Cove Light. You can see all of them controlling the light that they're supposed to control. Now let's go ahead and do what I like to call light layering. Okay, light layering is just, selecting each and every one of the lights in the light mix and then adding the appropriate intensity to them to make the lights more balanced. Okay, there's nothing inside here, so you can as well leave it at 1. All right. You can see this thing here. Let's go over the post and turn off the bloom and glare for now. Turn it on, turn it on. Okay, because at the end of the day, we're going to leave it on. So you can also adjust the color of your light from in here. Okay, you select it, you can see the effect. Just select something that doesn't look too colorful. Okay, but even if you do like this one I've done, you can also come over to post and then make some adjustments in the overall look of things. Okay, can adjust the contrast and the saturation, but first let's add LUT and then reduce the opacity of that. Okay, you can see the impact of it. All right, now let's add a filmic mapping, so just so we can increase the richness of our shadows and reduce the impact of that too. You can see the effect of this. Okay, now I want to add doors to the toilet door. Okay, change the Revit door that we have in the toilet door to the normal, 3ds Max door. So I'm going to bring it in, then I'm going to move it to place. Oops. Oh, wait, come back. Control Z. Now let's group the door with the handle so we don't lose the door and the handle. But first, let's relink the map that it came with. Okay, select downloads, relink it. Yeah, they're back. So select it and then group them together and then isolate it. Okay. Now I'm going to move it into place. Position it exactly the same place we have the door. Okay. And this is how you do it. Yeah. So now I have to adjust this door a little bit to be able to fit into where I want it to fit in. That's where FFD 4:4:4 comes in. So I'm going to use the control points. I'm going to move this object into place exactly how I want it to be. Yeah. So I'm going to select that one. I'm going to move it back. Not necessarily delete it. You never know when you might need it for something. Just move it back. And then let's isolate again and make sure that the door is where it is supposed to be, which is just right at the surface of the wall, so we don't have any interference. All right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Let me make it just a little bit of adjustment here, in a way that it's going to make the door look nicer in the space where I want it to be. Yeah. That's cool. Let's bring in the other door for the other, the double door for this door that we are facing. Alright, so we're going to adjust this door into place. Okay, we're going to use the FFD modifier to be doing that. Okay, just like we did the other one. Just adjust the door the way you deem, fit, the way you deem best, as long as at the end of the day the door looks nice for the intended use. Now let's relink the bitmap. Okay, yeah, we've done that. Now let's see how the door is looking where we placed it. Okay, I think this door should be flipped the other way around. Okay, because the way it's facing, I don't think this is the way it should be facing. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to rotate it in place. Ctrl Z. Yes. So we need to move it into place again because rotating it has removed it from its intended location. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's cool. Let's return the thickness to what it was before. That's cool. Very, very cool. Now let's go over to the setup and let's turn off the material override because it is now time for us to apply materials in our scene. So let's select all this stuff. Now let's go ahead and open the material editor. Nope, no, not this one. Material editor, and then apply our default material first and see how things look on the ceiling. Okay. You can actually start the interactive render and then see where you need to apply materials on. Okay. What is this? Just bring out your VFB and then start interactive render. As you can see, a lot of things are not going right in this scene. So with this interactive render that we are doing now, we see where we need to quickly apply a material on. Okay, so that way, oh my god, this is terrible. Okay, so that way you can later on adjust this material or something like that. Or you can just take your material preset. You don't have to do this at first. You can actually go straight with the material preset that you want. But then let me finish applying this thing and see if we really need to go brighter in this scene or just, something, grayish or darkish like this one. So we just have to find where all those red lights are coming from and glowing from. Okay, there's one behind that door. Okay, the door itself. Just think I will just convert it. Okay, yeah, definitely it's coming from behind it. It's not the door itself. Okay, well, first of all, see this one shining, reflecting on the leg of the wood. Okay, just gonna select it. Then I'm going to apply materials to it. You can see that thing is gone. Okay, that door. Let me select this door. And apply our default material on it. That solves the problem. Yeah. So now, I don't know about you, but I want it to be brighter. I want the walls to be brighter. Okay, so I'm just going to select them again. Just the walls this time. And I'm going to open Corona Default Material Library. And then go down and select the satin. Without editing, I'm going to apply it to the wall. And you can see it has made the scene brighter. I think I will do the same for the ceiling, but a different material. Now, obviously, as you can see, our light needs more work. Or you can use exposure and try to control it. But due to this high, this brightened wall, you can see how it is affecting our scene. Okay, now it's time for us to add our contrast and then our saturation to reduce the saturation. Now you can see that the lights we applied that was looking so colorful. Now with the reduction in saturation, it has balanced it out for us. Okay, I want to reduce this whiteness because before it destroys the entire scene. Yeah, I think this is better. Now we're going to adjust the floor mat and then we are going to also adjust the floor. But first, let's start with the floor mat. Use your material picker. And pick it. Now I want to desaturate that floor mat a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to use the color correction that came with the map, but I don't think it's controlling that aspect of the map. So I'm going to return the way it is. You know what? Let me just bring in my own color correction map and do what I want to do. So I'm just going to go to maps and then under general, I'm going to bring in color correction and place it in between. Now when I reduce it, yes, it is reducing. So I'm just going to keep it where I want it to be. Okay. Prefer it that way. Now I just noticed that we don't have spotlights on this ceiling. Okay. Let's go ahead and add it. I forgot to add it when we were adding the lights, but we can still add it anytime we want. So I'm going to use my copy tool. I'm going to paste it into this because I have it already copied in my copy tool. So I'm just going to go over there and then move it into place and adjust the lights and everything in a way that is going to make the light very nice in the scene. I'm going to move it, place it. Yes, just like that. And then I'm going to duplicate it all over the place. Instance. I think this illustration will be better for this scene though. I don't know. Let's just try it out and see what's up. Make sure you're selecting both the light. Depending on the type of ceiling light that you're using, make sure you're selecting both the light and the object. That's the model of the light, of the ceiling light. I'm going to move this one into place as well. I will rotate this and then move it into place. Do the same for the rest. Now selecting this one is a bit tricky because you have a lot of things underneath it. So I'm just going to delete it and create new ones. Okay, I'm just going to go over there, select, delete. Even to select this light, it's giving me a hard time. Yeah, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete. All right. Now let's see what we have done, how it's looking. Oh. I think it would have been better if we have, kept it on the lower ceiling. I think it would have been better. Now we must select this. So, okay, I've just selected everything, and then I'm deselecting every other thing. Okay, I'm gonna select only light this time around, and then change it back to all, and then select the models. This one is pretty easy to select. There's nothing underneath it, and then select the ceiling. I select them, and then move it to where you want it to be, like so, like so, just like that. Then let's go and move it vertically. Exactly. Exactly. Let's move this one a little bit to the edge. Same as this. You may not see that one, but it is there, and you'll be feeling the light. And when we come from the other angle, from the other view, you might see this other one I just adjusted now. So let's see whether it's better. Yeah, I think this is preferable. Let's work on the light and see how it is impacting this scene. Okay. If you want to know how to add IES to your light, there's a video I've done already about that. You can check out the channel pages to see them and learn how you can do that, and where you can get more custom IES lights in case the one that were provided to you by Corona is not enough. Now I want to create a new light mix. Okay, select Corona light, select, like see shading light, select, rename it to spotlight, and then add it. Okay, I've already added it, so now we can adjust the intensity from here like other things. Now we have other lights inside there that we were not able to select. So I'm just going to select the objects. All right. Sometimes when you apply light materials, you cannot select them with the light filter selection mode. All right. So just select the entire object. Come here and hit the plus button. That will add the light material part of the object into the light mix. So let me group that so that I can easily select it in case of next time. Now let's try and see how we can balance this light. I'll just leave it the way there. Okay, there's a video I've done on IES. In case you don't know what IES light is, you can check the channel page, where I talked about IES. I'm going to show you how you can create light that have this type of pattern on the wall. Okay, I'm talking about the spotlights. Okay, and then where you can get your own pattern of IES from in case the one that was provided by Corona is not enough. Okay, so yeah. Now let's work on our material, starting with the door material. Okay, I'm going to change that to stainless. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to apply it over on the first one. So you can see. I'm going to delete this one. So I'm just gonna get my own stainless material because I don't like the way that one showed. Okay, I'm just gonna bring it here and I'm going to and then select number one. That will apply it to the number one material. Let's see how it's looking. Yeah, this is more like it. I like that. I like that. Okay. Now let's apply our tile materials on the floor. I'm going to select this 600 by 600 millimeter tiles, the white marble tile, and I'm going to map it using the UVW map 0.005 for the length, and then the same thing for the width, and then the same thing for the height. Okay, and then I'm going to apply that same material to the wall skirts. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply it, select this one, also apply it. This remaining one. We're going to leave that one for now. We're going to apply the material to it later. Yeah. Then let's apply the material to it. That's right. Real world map size. Because we modeled that aspect of the model inside 3ds Max. So we can actually put it 11111 and it will be in the appropriate scale. I mean, that's what has worked for me over the years. So, okay. Now this SSOT. Let's go ahead and add our rank highlight compress. Keep it at 2. That means we have to add a little bit of contrast. Make contrast 2, make it 3. And then put this at, let's say 3. Okay. That's going to sharpen the image. And then let's try aligning and then setting the joints of this, this floor tile we want it to be. Raise it up a little bit so that that joint is removed from there. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, let me do a region render so that it will be loading out a bit faster. Okay, set it to 2 default lights so that we'll be seeing what we're doing properly. Yeah. You know what, let's just leave this thing. I've aligned one and the other one is not even aligned. So I'm just trying to do the same thing for this one. Just take it over here, delete this and paste. I'll say what's the word of stress. Let's see. Not aligned too. Let me just, can't just stay away from this. Just move it a little bit to align it. You don't have to align this and I'm aligning. It's just like a habit that I've developed over the years. I try to align things. If you don't see the need, you can just leave it. I think it's good enough now. It's good enough. Yeah. That's how you move things around. You can move things around. Things that you have mapped with UV map. You can move the map around by just selecting the gizmo and then moving it. You can also rotate it like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on the frame of our artwork. It's white now. I don't want it to be white. I want it to be black. So I'm going to just select it and make it black. Like so. It's make it a bit more reflective. Okay. Now let's see how it's looking. Okay, see the way I just picked the material and adjusted only that of the frame, and every other thing is left the way they were. Now let's reduce the exposure. The way this tone mapping, as you keep working, you keep adjusting it to fit what you know, because when we now turn on material, we now realize that, okay, this scene is now brighter because of the whiter material we used on the wall. That means the exposure has to come down. Now let's adjust this curtain. We need to cut it open. You can see it's blocking the wall, in the door, I mean. So we're going to edit it and then cut it open. First of all, let's adjust this a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to add sweep loops. Okay, it is inclining, it doesn't matter. Later we're going to align it. So we're going to add it one here and then add another swift loop on this other side. Just like so. Now let's go ahead and adjust it the way we want it to be. We're going to select the vertex and we're going to select only that side and then try as much as we can to align it to be straight. Now the same thing, we'll do it over to that side. Yep. Select only that side. Try as much as we can to make it straight and then select everything and align it. Now we're going to select the polygons and we're going to delete them. The face, delete, delete, delete. Yes. If this object is in a place where it is exposed, we could have like bridged the opening, but because it is not, and we're not going to see it, I'm going to leave it like that. Now you can see we have cut out the part that was blocking the door entrance before. So that's it for that. All right. Okay. I'm not going to, because you can see what I'm talking about. It is open. I'm going to leave it like that because we are not seeing it. Now let's apply our white material to that. We can do that by picking this wall and then selecting the wall and then applying the material to it. Yes, it is now white material. That's a little bit of adjustment. So now see this curtain, the way it is looking, I don't like it. Okay, it is allowing light to pass through and then messing up with the shadows of the curtains. So I'm just going to revert what we did initially where we said do not cast shadows. Now I'm going back to tell it to cast shadows, and you can agree with me that it's looking way better now. I like the way the curtain is looking now. Now what that means is that we're going to increase the exposure a little bit. Okay, I'm going to increase the exposure to be able to accommodate this new change that we just made. Okay. Then let's work on the cove lights. Reduce it because it is like looking overexposed. Like the brightness is too much, and that is making our realism not to be, you know, more realistic. If I can use the word more realistic, well, you understand what I mean. So we reduce it to make the cove light shine out the way cove light should shine out. Okay, there is a level of brightness that it will pass. It will no longer look like that. It will be looking like something else. Okay. I think we still have more work to do. That's what I think. But then, but then, but then, but then, but then. Let's look at other things first. Let's go to the other camera. Let's see the way the scene is looking from this angle, this point of view. Reduce the warmness by working on the white balance. Yeah. Okay. Now let's adjust the exposure. Reduce it a bit. You can see that this our light in the cove lighting is still very much overexposed. We are going to adjust it. But first of all, let's finish working on our camera. Okay. Now let's set our aspect ratio. to the size we want to render it out as. Then set our denoise into Corona High Quality. Okay. If you want to understand how these denoisers work, there's a video I've done already about that. Check it out. And then you will no longer be in question of what denoiser to use and when to use them, because in that video you're going to find out how denoiser help you reduce your render time drastically. Okay. This is me doing the final tone mapping and color light layering in a way that is going to make the scene look balanced and all that. You notice that there's a lot of shadows beside that seat in this area. So I'm going to show you how you can improve that by introducing your, what I call accent light, okay, right beside that seat, okay, like so. And then we're going to make adjustment, arrange the light, or I move the light in position where it is going to like cast a little bit of light to that shadow to make it's not like it's not going to be shadow again. It's going to be shadow, but it's going to be lighter than this, so we don't lose details. All right, so let me move it down now. Okay. And I'm still feeling it. I'll have to move it down closer to the seat and then see what's going on. I'm beginning to see it now. I'm beginning to see it. It is because I turned off the rest in the light mix. Now that it is on, you can see it is showing. That was why we're not seeing it before. Now let's adjust the intensity more. Make it higher more. Mind you, when you don't assign your lights to a light mix family, it is going to automatically assign it, like Corona is going to automatically assign that light to the rest. That's what it is doing there. Okay, as you can see, we are beginning to cast light to the shadows. Okay. I feel like it's too bright. What do you think? Let's move it away a little bit more. I don't know. Take it closer. Because we have a white wall there, and the white wall is supposed to be reflecting light. But then let me just reduce it a little bit. Yeah, that's more like it. A little bit more. Yeah. Okay. You can see we still have shadows there, but the details there is very much visible now. And then let's adjust the curve lights like I said we would. No, let's just select the lights and then make them less intensive. You know what? Let's make it 5. Yeah. That means I'm going to have to select others and make all of them 5. Just like that. I think it's better this way. Don't want it to be too bright. You get? I don't want it to be too bright. I want it to be just the appropriate, based on the cove light I've seen around. They are not that bright, but you feel the presence. You feel because there's a way it affects the scene. You understand? That's what I'm going for here. Okay. I think this is better now. Yeah. Yeah. Better. Now that we're done, I'm now going to hit the... All right. I think that's okay. I think the contrast is okay. I'm going to increase the filmic shadow. Yeah. Let's leave it at 0.8. Then let's hit the render button to have our scene rendered out. Okay, I'm going to pause this video now. When we get back, I'll show you how to save out this file. as the file is rendering. So now we're done. I'm going to hit stop, and then the denoiser will kick in. Allow it to finish denoising. Now we have 7 layers of denoisers. All right. Usually, the number of light mix you have has a way of affecting the time to take or the levels of denoiser you are going to see. Okay. As it's denoising, you are seeing these fireflies and this color noise disappearing. Okay. You can see them disappearing one after the other. Okay. That's what denoiser does for you. So allow it to finish denoising, and you will not regret it. Okay. So this is what we have. Now let's go ahead and save it out. Select the folder where you want to save it. Create a folder if you want to, or just save it inside that folder. Name the file, select file format, set your gamma override, then save, then select your PNG configuration. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Not only subscribing, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future tutorial. Alright? If you want to see how you can do post-production to this image, you can comment down below. But there are other videos I have in this channel that have already shown how you can do post-production. I've used different method of doing post-production. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.